Hello everyone, I am TitanicSizedReviews. I review movies, shows, and video games. And today, I'm reviewing Accused, a Tubi original. This is a thriller, crime, and though it isn't labeled as such, suspense. It is rated TVMA for language and violence. It is an hour and 27 minutes long. There will be spoilers in this video. I'm basically going to go over the whole thing. So if you just want to know if the movie is good or not and it's worth watching, my answer is yes. It definitely is. This is probably the best Tubi movie I've seen on here. When it comes to originals, this one definitely does the best job. I'm not going to say it's super action-packed or anything. It's more psychological. But it's very entertaining to watch. So if you want to know if it's worth a watch, the answer is yes. Yes, it is. Before I get into the spoilers, I'm going to talk about the characters. And there really aren't that many, which is honestly a good thing. It does a very good job. The main character is Harri. He's Muslim. He lives in the UK. His girlfriend's name is Chloe. She's another character. She doesn't really matter a whole lot. His parents, I don't know their names. They're not there for a whole lot either. His neighbor, Mrs. Daly. And when it comes to characters, that's it. Those are all the characters. Harri, Chloe, his parents, and Mrs. Daly. I would say there's technically two more, but we don't have their names and they don't really matter that much. They impact the story, but they themselves don't really say a whole lot. This movie starts out with Harri getting on a train and going to go visit his parents after he leaves his girlfriend's house. And while he's on the train, him and everybody else are getting reports about a bomb that went off and killed 6 people, at least at the time that they are getting the reports. The amount of death does go up steadily through the movie. And of course, he is going to be accused of the bombing. That is the premise of the movie. Now I'm going to get into spoiler territory. So again, if you don't want any spoilers, you don't want to know exactly what's going to happen in certain parts, just watch it. It's a good movie. It's entertaining. So, Harri goes to visit his parents. Has a small conversation about his mom, who used to have friends with benefits. A very cringy line, in my opinion. Probably the only line in the movie that I didn't really like. It was just, I don't know, it was just weird. Whatever. His parents are going to go on a vacation, so they leave him alone at their family home. I'm not sure where at in the UK. Someplace far out of the city, it appears. So he's there, seeing everyone talking online about the bomb, and how people died, and how angry people are getting. And of course, people are blaming Muslims because the dude in the picture that was put on the news, he looks Muslim, he looks brown. But that's all you really can see of him. You see his skin, he's just wearing some basic clothes. Looking down, you can't see his face fully. He, of course, just stops paying attention, but has his laptop up while everyone is complaining online. He's just watching monster movies. During this time, one of his old school friends thinks that the bomber looks like him. And he does. He absolutely does. They made the actual bomber look 100% like Harri. Until the end of the movie, where he's suddenly a white dude with no beard at all. Yeah, that's a pretty big spoiler, I would say, if it mattered. It doesn't. The actual bombing character doesn't matter in the slightest. It's just what that character does in the beginning that affects Harri that matters. The bomber himself doesn't matter at all. Well, she starts uploading pictures. People start to believe that he is him with that mob mentality. In the beginning of the movie, when he's walking to the train, there's the two blonde girls who are recording, I'm going to assume, a TikTok, and they have him in the background. And he's wearing similar clothes to the bomber. He looks very similar to the bomber. And they show it, they upload it. They assume that it's him, of course. At some point while he's watching his movie, he finally sees all these messages and realizes that he's getting blamed for something he did not do. At one point, he even talks to his girlfriend, who mentions that he looks just like the bomber. Well, he instantly calls the police, which is smart. I'm glad that they have a smart character doing something intelligent. He does. He calls the police. He contacts them, tells them that he's being accused of something he did not do. I think this part of the movie has a slight shortcoming because the police don't really do any investigating at all into this. They don't send anyone to his house where he is currently staying to, look at him, talk to him, look around just a little bit, make sure that he's telling the truth. No offense, but someone just calling in and saying that I'm being accused of being a bomber by a bunch of people and no one going to even investigate even a little bit is kind of stupid. That's a little stupid. I'm going to let that go. That's probably the dumbest thing about the movie, is the fact that no police ever go to actually investigate this man who is being accused of being a bomber. And they don't do anything to help prove that he isn't. They don't post online from a police-related account. That's a little dumb. Rest of the movie, though, great. Fantastic. You just ignore that part, this movie's good movie. Well, they tell him just to, sit tight, chill. It's going to be fine. Don't react to anyone online. At some point, he calls his friends who were posting these pictures and not really helping him seem like an innocent person. They don't pick up, of course. He also calls his girlfriend, Chloe. She picks up, but even she begins to doubt that he isn't the bomber, because she's an idiot. Well, she basically hangs up on him. He just has to continue his night alone in the house. Trying not to freak out, but he's obviously very emotional, as anyone would be if you're being accused of killing, I think at that point, maybe 8 or 10 people. It just goes up by 2 every time. Well, at some point, his motion light sensor goes off, and I am jumping ahead a little bit. And he looks outside and sees nothing. But obviously something is there. He has cameras around the house that he goes to check on to see what's going on. And slightly before this, they have multiple scenes where they show people online typing out, hateful messages, suspecting who this person is, trying to find his address. At some point, they find Chloe, his girlfriend, and then they find his mom, and then they find his house. And that's when we get to the motion lights, the camera, and of course, there are 2 idiots at his house. They're there to kill him because they think that he is the bomber. He learns this slowly. They begin to creep around the house on the outside, trying to get in. One manages to do so and kills his dog. I don't know how they killed his dog so quietly, but they did. I mean, the dog doesn't make a whimper or anything. I think that was a little dumb as well, but it's a very, very minor thing. Doesn't really matter at all. I just can't help but think about it. So he begins to, I want to say almost Home Alone, but he doesn't start setting up traps. He's just using his camera on his phone, the ones that are inside the house, looking around, watching where the killers are. Well, just intruders at this point. They're not killers yet. And is trying to avoid them as much as possible. He avoids one, tries to run outside, and that's when he sees another one. Again, he begins to avoid them both because they're both inside the house now. Eventually he gets chased onto his roof, and he falls into his pool. He gets wet, gets away from the two intruders, and escapes to his neighbor, Mrs. Daly. And she helps him out at first, and everything seems fine. And then she hears a report on the radio where everyone's saying, oh, he is the killer. Even though, again, they have no actual proof. The radio is basically spreading false information, and she believes it because she doesn't really know what's going on. She just knows that Harry's soaking wet, coming over to her house, freaking out. She's an older lady. Her jumping to conclusions isn't far-fetched at all, actually. It's actually makes a lot of sense. Well, holds him at knife point. Kind of gets the attention of the intruders. One of them runs in the house. The other one stays outside for some strange reason and chases him into one of the back rooms, and they fight. And another strange thing is that intruder decides to take off all of his intruder clothing. And by that, I mean he takes off his, like, jacket, coat, and this weird mask that he has on makes him look like Shredder. He just starts taking off these clothing before he's going to go and fight Harry to the death with the hammer that he has. I don't know why he did that. That was also a little weird. Whatever. He tries to fight Harry to the death. Harry wins. And Harry hauls ass. Well, the intruder's friend sees that he's dead and gets upset. Obviously chases after Harry. Harry manages to get to his very fancy car that was covered. Gets in, the intruder pulls up, pulls him out, and starts to beat the shit out of him. Harry very slowly gets up and gets away towards his rickety old treehouse. And I think I'll stop there. I basically shared the whole movie, but I'm not going to share that small part, the very ending of it. It's good. It's a good movie. It's worth watching. I liked it a lot. For a Tubi original, this movie's... it's very well made. Very well made compared to the other ones. It makes me think I shouldn't have been so lax on some of the other Tubi movies because of, like, bad acting or mediocre acting. The acting in this is very good, and it's mostly just focused on Harry. It's a simple film, but it does a very good job. I give this movie a 9 out of 10. I would give it a 10, but I think the cops not showing up, and mostly just the cops not showing up, was very dumb. A few little minor things like that. Like the dog. But 9 out of 10, for sure. Worth a watch. Check it out. If you liked this video, please click subscribe, leave a like on the video. It helps me out. Maybe leave a comment. Maybe something you want me to watch next and review. Maybe share the video with somebody who, I don't know, likes my sweet voice. I have no idea. That's up to you. Just do it. Because why not? Thank you for watching. Have a good day.